Every single one of these new features is solving a problem your clients deal with every day, and you get to be the one who delivers the fix because of the updates Tom has made in the Marketer's Toolkit. You are a high-level agency serving real estate agents, coaches, insurance agents, medical or chiropractic practices, or home service businesses like carpet and rug cleaning companies. Basically, an agency that your customers thrive on the pipelines and opportunities section. This episode was made for you. Hey, welcome back to the Marketer's Toolkit in the Spotlight series. My name is Virginia Schauer, and today we are doing something a little different. Instead of sitting down with one of our amazing MTK members, I am pulling back the curtain on the platform itself. Tom Bristol, the founder, the man himself of the Marketer's Toolkit, has been busy, like seriously busy. And when Tom drops an update, if you know him, it's never just one thing. Today, I'm walking you through 9 new features inside of MTK Customizer. Yes, you heard right, 9. Tom recorded walkthroughs of each feature, so you're going to hear from him directly throughout this episode. I'll set up each one with real context for the industries you're serving, and then we'll drop into his demo. So whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast, you are going to get the full picture. All right, are you ready? All right, let's do this. When you have a team working on the same pipeline, stage names alone aren't always enough. Under contract means something very specific in a real estate transaction. New patient in a chiropractic practice triggers a whole new intake sequence. Renewal window in an insurance book of business has a deadline attached to it. But if your team doesn't know what to do at each stage, the pipeline becomes a guessing game. So Tom built the ability to add descriptions directly to your pipeline stage headers in the customizer. You can get info tooltip style and subtitle style, and you can even add HTML so you can link out to workflows, SOP checklists, whatever your client team needs to reference right at that moment. So picture this. You're running an agency for a real estate brokerage. Their under contract stage now has a description that links directly to their inspection and disclosure workflow. Every agent on the team knows exactly what fires next without asking the team lead. No drop balls during one of the most critical parts of a transaction. Or imagine you're serving a chiropractic practice. Their insurance verification is needed stage has a description that links straight to the verification form and the billing team's instructions. Front desk staff are no longer guessing. They're just clicking and moving. So here's Tom walking you through exactly what it looks like in the platform.
We now let you add descriptions to the pipeline headers here. And you have a couple of different styles that you can use here. The settings are inside of the stage area here. And so if we click on the Edit Stage Info button, it gives you a couple different styles. So first off, you can add in HTML so you can link to workflows and things like that. But you have the info style, which we showed you just a second ago. And then if you go to subtitle, I'll show you what that looks like. And if you have any other ideas for what, the different styles and things that you could do, let me know. But here's an example of what that looks like. It just goes underneath the header here. We have in this setup here right now, we've got a couple of things going. We've got the collapsed pipelines and we've got the minimize here. But yeah, that should give you a little overview. But I'd love to add other features. So if you have any other questions or any thoughts on this, just let me know.
Don't you think the HTML capability is what really opens this up? So you're not just limited to a text note. You can embed a live link to any source in your client's ecosystem. For agencies who are building systems for their clients, this isn't just like handling their GHL account. This is like a meaningful differentiator. So I'm curious how you're going to implement this tool. I can't wait to hear about it. Address autocomplete. So address entry sounds like a small thing until you're watching it create downstream problems. A typo in a property address breaks a real estate automation. An incomplete address on a patient intake form causes billing headache. A wrong service location sent to a carpet cleaning crew wastes an entire morning. The Marketer's Toolkit Customizer now has address autocomplete built in. And here is the part that makes this especially easy to deploy for your clients. It no longer requires an API key. You just toggle it on, and for clients using Place ID as a custom field, it updates that automatically too. Think about a real estate agency where agents are entering property addresses dozens of times a week, or a car company dispatching crews to residential and commercial locations every single day. One address is a missed appointment or an angry client. This toggle eliminates that category of error entirely. For medical and chiropractic practices, capturing patient addresses at intake, clean address data also means cleaner insurance claims and more accurate records. It is a small toggle with a surprisingly wide impact. So here's Tom showing you exactly how quick this is to turn on.
When you turn on address autocomplete inside of the customizer, this is what it will look like. It doesn't require a API key anymore. You can just select it like so. And another thing to note is it actually will even update the place ID if you have that as a custom field.
I just love simplicity, don't you? No API key, just a toggle. That's the kind of frictionless setup your clients will actually use. And as you are an agency, you can have this configured before they even log on for the first time. We know of so many agencies that are building out custom fields and high level to store information specific to their client's industry. And a lot of that information lives somewhere else, like in a portal, a document, an external system. And getting from GHL contact record to the external resource has always required like a copy, paste, open a new tab routine. And now, you ready for it? With this new Customizer MTK feature, any custom field that contains an HTTPS link will automatically display an open a new tab button right on the contact or opportunity record. There's no setup required. The system detects the link and the button appears. So let's think about this. Insurance agents storing links to carry portals or policy documents in a custom field can now open them in one click directly from the contact record. No tab hunting. Doctors or chiropractors who link to external EMR systems or lab result portals from a GHL custom field get the same thing. Staff stay in their workflow instead of toggling between systems constantly. And now let's see Tom showing you how to instantly get it kicked in once you add the link.
With this feature, any custom field in the contact area or the opportunity area, if it has an HTTPS in it, you'll get an open in new tab. If we take a look at it here, if we add an HTTPS, it'll automatically get this open in new tab, which then opens in a new window like that.
You know, large agencies who are building for their clients are thinking about these micro moments of friction. Every extra click is a chance for staff to lose focus or make an error. Moving these things add up to a noticeably smoother experience. So let's move on to the next. So one of my personal favorite things about the Marketer's Toolkit is about how intuitive the Marketer's Toolkit makes my system at Soul Software. And this one is all about that. It's all about how your clients actually interact with the pipelines that they view every day over in opportunities. So if you have pipelines that have a lot of stages, a lot of horizontal scrolling, that small scroll bar at the bottom is generally and genuinely annoying. It's hard to grab. It's slow. It disrupts the flow of reviewing a pipeline. And so now Tom added a click and drag scrolling. Now you can grab anywhere on the pipeline canvas and drag horizontally. It's the kind of intuitive behavior you expect from modern software, and it's especially useful for those that are having a more complex multi-stage pipeline. So think real estate agencies often have pipelines with 8, 10, 12 stages covering everything from first inquiry to close and referred. And then like insurance agencies might have separate pipelines for each stage of business. So the ability to just grab and drag across a wide pipeline makes reviewing the broad spectrum so much faster. And so here's Tom demoing it. And it is one of those things when you watch it and immediately, it's one of those things where you watch it and you immediately think, isn't this how it should work anyway?
This is a simple one, but oftentimes the scroll bar is hard to grab onto. It's a little bit too small. In this case, our theme is making it bigger and easier to grab onto. But what this does is it lets you grab anywhere in the pipeline and drag. So if you've got any space down here, it's kind of intuitive to sort of grab down here and scroll, and that's what it does. Of course, if you drag a opportunity, that doesn't scroll.
I think it's totally worth noting that Tom built in smart behavior here. So if you're dragging an opportunity card to move it, the canvas does not scroll. The system knows the difference between moving a card and navigating the board. And that kind of thoughtful implementation is one that separates a polished tool from one that just kind of works. You know what I mean? Okay, so you may or may not know, but Tom created the first collapsible cards and opportunities. But wait for this update in the expanded version of this because I know you're going to love it. You know, high volume pipelines are completely a different management challenge than low volume ones. And when you have a lot of active leads or active clients in a single pipeline stage, the standard card view requires a lot of scrolling and you lose the bird's eye, the hawk's eye view very fast. And so that compressed opportunities view adds a button that collapses your cards into a tighter, more scannable layout. And it's not just a flat squish anymore. When you hover over the card, it now expands so you can still see the details. You get the overview and the details on demand. So those companies that are running high volume service pipelines, especially in peak seasons, a scheduled stage with 40 active jobs this week are hard to manage in a standard card view. So compressing the view lets the dispatcher scan the whole board in seconds and hover to check any job's detail. So chiropractic practices managing a large active patient pipeline or doctors with full appointment schedules in their CRM can get the same benefits. You can see everyone at once without the endless scroll. So check out what Tom has created here. He's going to give you a good demo to see what it's all about.
The compressed opportunity view adds a button over here on the opportunity screen that gives you a compressed view. When you hover over it, it expands it, but it's nice for when you have a lot of leads in your pipeline.
I get questions all the time about why my software system is so intuitive and it feels different than high level. And I can honestly say it's because of the toolkit. This feature that we just saw is one of those that it's like, I didn't know I needed that until I had it. It's just a simple toggle that completely changes how manageable a busy pipeline can feel. And I know that my clients love this so much. So I'm excited for you to implement it and tell me what you think about it. If you have a team doing sales, I don't need to tell you that speed matters in sales and it matters in follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up, right? So the number of steps between seeing a lead and actually calling them is directly correlated to how many of those calls never happen. If it takes 4 clicks, people start skipping it. So Tom added a call button directly onto the opportunity modal. You see the opportunity, you click the button, you're dialing. That's the whole flow. So real estate agents know this better than almost anyone. The first agent to call a new lead is dramatically higher conversion rate. If your agency client has their new lead in pipeline and GHL and can directly call from the opportunity with one click, they're so much faster to every conversation that matters. Insurance agents doing renewal outreach or working through a list. The faster they can move through the record to call the next record, the more policies they retain. Removing friction from that loop has a whole direct revenue impact. So here's Tom showing you exactly how fast it is to initiate.
This feature adds a button onto the opportunity modal here that allows you to call it directly from the opportunity. So here, if you'll see, it's now dialing Bob directly.
Okay. One button, one click, dialing. How simple can he make this? I love this so much. This is a real operational upgrade. Okay, if you have made it this far, I'm so glad because this is my favorite feature in the entire update. And I want to take a minute to explain why. So, the color coded cards are not new. However, the way that they're implemented for you and your clients is so smart. So, color coded cards lets you visually color your opportunity cards based on time. So, how many days since the last stage change, since the contact was created, or since the last update? You choose the metric, you set the thresholds, and the cards change color automatically. Dr. Josh Satterley took us through how he did this with the Marketer's Toolkit. And it was at the time, it was a more complicated setup, but Tom has made it now so easy. So you can have multiple styles, gradients, animations, left border options, and it's all customizable. But here's what makes this a real agency feature and not just a cosmetic one. All of those settings are saved into custom values. That means every user on a sub account gets the same coloring automatically. And because it's the custom value under the hood, you can use MTK's agency workflow actions to push those settings to new accounts. So your clients start with color-coded pipelines configured before they ever even log in. So think about real estate agencies. A lead sitting in follow-up for 14 days before a competing agent calls them is a nightmare scenario. Color-coded cards make that visible now, and your agent doesn't need to check the date on every card. The card just tells them that by the color. For like Dr. Josh Satterley, a chiropractic practice, this flips into a re-engagement tool. Which patients have not booked their follow-up appointments in over 30 days? Those are red cards. The front desk can prioritize their outreach list at a glance. From the list can go on and on how this can help your agency. I'm really interested to see how you're going to use the color coding. And is this your favorite too? Or which one is your favorite so far?
The Opportunity Days Sense feature adds a button onto the opportunity area that lets you color the cards based off of how many days it's been since the last stage change, since they were created, or they were last updated. They've got a few different styles that they can choose from, and everything is, of course, customizable. I kind of like the subtle or like the left border features here. Now, a few important things to note on this. You can also add in, some gradients, some animations, and things like that. Now, the button here looks different, or when you open it, it looks different if you are a user versus if you're an account owner. If you are a user, all you're allowed to do is view the sort of the legend. Here's an example of what it looks like for the user. So for them, they're just going to see what, so they know what it is, right? Now, also important to note is that all of these settings are saved into the custom values. So you can see them here. And this has a couple of benefits. Number one, it makes it so that everybody on the sub account gets the same settings. And number two, because it's literally just a custom value, if you've got a standard setup, you can use our automations like the agency workflow actions and things like that to push those to new accounts. So new accounts automatically get certain card coloring to start, and you can have them, they're allowed to then override it if you want.
So, are your wheels spinning on how you can elevate your agency from something that's just a nice visual to scaling agency with clear deliverables? Okay, so speaking of color, building on that idea of making pipelines visually intelligent, this feature takes it in a different direction. Instead of color coding based on the cards on time, opportunity tag colors lets you style cards based on the tags that are applied to them. It works in a combination with the theme builder, and once it's set up, it's automatic. The reason why I love this for agencies is that every industry has a meaningful segmentation story, and tags are usually how that segmentation lives in GHL. And with this feature, the segmentation becomes visible right on the pipeline board. So for real estate agencies, buyer, seller, investor, cash buyer, each tag gets its own color code. Your agent scans the board and instantly knows what type of relationship is in each stage without opening a single record. So let's talk about insurance agencies: auto, home, life, bundle. Different pipelines on the same pipeline with the color-coded tags. Policy type is visible at a glance across the entire board. Service agencies, out in the field, residential, commercial, recurring, emergency. A red card for an emergency job is different than a blue recurring customer. You can prioritize staffs without being told. Chiropractic and medical, workers' comp, auto entry, cash pay, insurance, billing handles their records differently based on the tag, and the pipeline now reflects that visually. No one is opening a record to figure out what category a patient falls into. So let's look at Tom walking you through the setup, and it's a lot more straightforward than you might expect. So get ready to just implement this immediately.
The opportunity tag feature works together with the theme builder to allow you to style cards based off of what tags are on them. So as an example, this has the tag active client on it. So in the theme builder, in this solution here, you'll find it over here. Just search opportunity or customizer, probably the fastest way. And it says opportunity card tag styles. It'll take you here, go to customize, and then you can add as many of these items as you want. So I'll add a new one in here. And very important, we're going to use active client. So you can't use spaces. So you'll want to say active client like that. Change all of your spaces to a hyphen. And you'll see here, as soon as we get this set up correctly, let's change that to blue, just as a test here. And there you go. Both of these have the active client and they will get styled. You can further continue to style them with all of the different colors that we have here.
Another one I was thinking of is, as an agency, you can walk into an onboarding with this already configured for your client's industry. The pipeline is organized, color-coded, and readable on day one. I mean, that's a completely different first impression than handing someone a blank GHL account and wishing them luck. All right, we're rounding it out. This is the last one. Haven't these been absolutely awesome? So this one is all about ease again. It's all about intuitiveness. So High Level has a native button that opens a contact record from an opportunity, but it opens it in another window every time. For some workflows, that's absolutely fine, but for others, especially in high volume or staff operated environments, it creates tab overload so fast. So Tom added a button that opens the contact in the same window. The existing new window button is still there. Medical and chiropractic office staff are often managing multiple patient records in a session. Every new window that opens is another thing to track and close. Keeping everything in the same window keeps the workflow tight and focused, especially for front desk teams who are also answering phones and checking in new patients at the same time. Insurance agents processing renewals or doing policy reviews are moving through a list. Staying in the same window means staying in flow. No tab management, no disorientation, just record to record in a clean single view. So let's watch Tom as he moves us through the open contact in the same window.
When viewing on opportunity, High Level gives you this native button that opens High Level in a new window for the contact. This feature adds a button on the contact that opens it in the same window, just like that.
Choice. That is the theme of this feature. And honestly, this entire update, MTK is not overriding what High Level does. It's giving your clients options so they can work the way that actually fits their operation. And that's the whole philosophy here. So we've gone over 9 features, and if you've been listening, you heard me name real estate agents, insurance agents, coaches, chiropractors, doctors, service industries out in the field throughout this episode. That was intentional because the agencies who win with high level are not the ones handing clients a generic setup. They're the ones who show up knowing the industry, knowing the workflow, knowing how to configure the platform to serve their specific businesses. The Marketer's Toolkit gives you the tools to do that at a level that most agencies cannot match. And if you're not already inside the Marketer's Toolkit, the link is in the description. And if you're a current member and you want to think through how to use any of these features in a specific niche you serve, book an optimization call with me. The link is in the description too. I absolutely love these conversations. I love to talk strategy on how to implement with the Marketer's Toolkit. And also we have, if you want to like troubleshoot or just get to know the toolkit more and figuring out how to do what is done, every Friday at noon, Tom's team hosts a live Q&A call where you can ask questions, get answers in real time. If this episode was useful, share it with another agency owner, especially one who is serving any of these industries we talked about today. They will appreciate it knowing these tools exist. So I guess that wraps it up. I hope that this was valuable. Please give us a great 5-star review on the podcast channel. Tom and I love to read them, so we would really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.